Dirt Trax is sponsored by Can-Am. The ride says it all. Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. And by Yamaha, conquer outdoors.
Every year on Dirt Trax, we try to build something as one of our custom builds that's a little bit different, a little bit outside the box, but usually it's focused around horsepower or mud or some specific like that. This year we wanted to do something that was way outside of the box. We didn't just want to, build a huge horsepower rig or something for going out to the dunes. We wanted to do something that really set this build apart. It really made this build special, but the truth is when you build an expedition rig, when you build any kind of custom project, you need to go out and you need to test it in the environment that you built it for. And so that's exactly what we wanted to do. We knew we had to go out, we had to do a real expedition with this vehicle. And so after calling Mike from TerraTech, that's precisely what we did. After Mike from TerraTech had showed up at our offices, we wanted to get packed up and head out because we were literally riding right from the office to do this major expedition. And so we grabbed all the camping gear, the Coleman stuff, we grabbed the overboard waterproof dry bags and started loading everything we could possibly think of up. I mean, there was camp stoves and lanterns and sleeping bags and tents and backpacks and food and just all of this random stuff that comes together for an expedition, but we had all the space for it because of the rack that G&G built for us. There was more than enough space, and these overboard bags take everything you could imagine and are completely waterproof. So it was pretty cool. By the time we packed all of this huge mass of things together and put it on the vehicle, it really didn't look overloaded. It looked like it was right and proper, and we had everything we needed to go out for multiple days. One of the key components for not just drivability, but usability is being able to take this vehicle, not just off-road, but on-road as well.
The roads have been open under Ontario Regulation 316, so now side-by-sides and two-ups are able to travel there just the same as their ATVs. We took advantage of the Easy Turn signal kit. We've got signals, horn, all the good stuff to help us out with being out there with the traffic. As far as an expedition vehicle, obviously you want to prepare it to do all the jobs. So the important stuff is to design something that, in our situation here, it needed to go down the road well. It needed to handle fire roads, but it also had to be set up to have some extra ground clearance and be able to crawl.
So we went from highway to high-speed fire road to small single-track trail. And this trail that we got onto, it was predominantly used for getting to a hunt camp, and then we ventured off the beaten path from there. And there had been some ATVs out in this area, but I don't think there'd been too many big side-by-sides, and there's a lot of mud holes. So we were having a lot of fun out on this trail. I mean, and just kind of crawling through a lot of really nasty, gnarly, rocky sections, rock gardens, some interesting downed trees. We had to get off the vehicle at a couple of points and cut down some trees that were across the trail and move some stuff out of the way.
So the first part of the trail, there's a bit of rock gardens, there's some water holes. And when we take ATVs through there, you ride it differently. Your lines are different than a wider vehicle, obviously. So the ones that I knew not to go into on an ATV, they're a little bit deceptive in a full size. So the one hole, it didn't look too bad, and as we went in, the vehicle just slid sideways and it high centered.
Now I'm looking out the door, the driver's door on my side, and literally the water is right at the top of the door. I mean, we got stuck. My butt got wet. But the great thing is we had a winch kit, we were able to pull ourselves out, everything worked exactly as it's supposed to. We were able to get ourselves settled at the campsite, get the expedition kind of parked where we wanted it so that we could use the ARB rear cooler and get out the Coleman stuff and start cooking. And Mike is Mike's a police officer. Mike is an off-road Jeep guy. He's a side-by-side enthusiast. He does TerraTech off-road for military and law enforcement vehicles, but he's also one heck of a cook. So I was like, you know what? Go for it. You do that, I'll put up the tents. And he starts cooking away. He's got like oil and water to a boil in no time with those Coleman stoves. They work great. So we have like a fish fry, which was awesome. And I'm setting up the Coleman tent, getting everything situated. We got a fire going. Honestly, the site that we found couldn't have been better. I mean, I don't think it's been a hunting camp in, oh man, it's got to be over 30 years. There hasn't been anybody there, but it's the perfect spot. It's right on the lake, has a beautiful view, and there's a campfire or a fire pit already set up for us. So it was pretty cool that we had this little spot. So we got pretty much every rigid light that they make on there. We should probably take her out later and see what it looks like at night. I think it'll probably light up the trail pretty good.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm up for it.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Princess Auto, a unique world of equipment, tools, and more.
We can literally make nighttime daytime with this thing because the rigid industry stuff works so good. We thought, yeah, let's jump in the rig. So we got geared back up, you know, put our helmets and our comms on, fired up the GPS and had a look on the map and thought, you know what, let's just continue on the trail and we'll see where we go, see what happens. At some points, we turned almost all of the light off because it almost gives you just a different feel at night when it's still dark out and you can't see everything. You know, you light your path, but you don't need to see all the way into the forest and sort of be intrusive that way. And it was neat. We got along the trail and couldn't tell where we were except for the GPS, but you know, it's very very hard to see. Your other senses are heightened. I could hear a creak in one area, and then all of a sudden we pull up and there's this old dilapidated bridge that must have been from, I don't know, a snowmobile trail or something like that way back in the day. Mike's a cop, so early rising is not a problem for him. I have young children, early rising is still a problem for me. But I woke up in the morning to the sounds of a campfire going and the smell of coffee and bacon, so life was good. You know, talk a little bit, have a couple cups of coffee, and then pack those overboard bags back up and get everything geared back up onto the expedition vehicle and head back out for what was going to be the gnarlier part of this single track trail.
So after breakfast, we were all packed up. We started out on the trail again. We started heading northwest. The trail there, it leads you around the lake, and it is uphill. It's technical. It's very tight, pretty much not much wider than what our vehicle was. We went through a couple rock gardens, which were great to see how the suspension articulated. Everything worked very well. We didn't have any bumping and banging or bottoming out that you would maybe have with a larger tire set.
Some really interesting technical hill climbs. Had some tight little kind of dugout water holes that didn't have any water in them, but really made the ATV crab through, and it was technical getting through there. Then we came up to the can opener, and you pull up to it, and I'm looking at this opening, and I said to Mike, I was like, dude, like, I don't think I could get an ATV through that, let alone a Jeep.
You come to a nice rock section, and there's actually a rock there we call the can opener because it has claimed a few Jeep doors. And AJ did a good job driving through there because you certainly do have to pay attention to wheel placement on something like that.
Mike is a Jeep guy, and he's into that crawling and slower, lower speed stuff, and that's kind of his niche. For me, I like doing that, but I mean, when you got a 121 horsepower turbocharged motor sitting under the hood, you got to open that thing up.
And we were able to pick the speed up a little bit and really kind of let this thing let loose a little bit. Nice sliding around some corners, handled very, very well. It was predictable. The front end planted nice in the corners. You know, it was definitely something I enjoyed after a day of rock crawling. Nice thing is the fire roads led us back out to the asphalt, and we started heading north.
And the whole time we're riding down the road, it's not like you're isolated from the person beside you, because we've got the radio system from Rugged Radios. We're talking the whole time about where we're going, what we're doing. We wanted to go somewhere other than just our overnight expedition. We wanted to go somewhere that was unique. So there's this really cool fire lookout tower that you can actually go up into that was close to where we were riding. And ended up pulling into this really unique fire tower that you can climb up. It's, by the time you get to the top, you're about 400 feet over top of the nearest lake, which looks like it's right under you. I mean, this is a significantly tall tower, and it was cool to be able to stop there, go up, you know, see the area we've been riding in, and look out over all of this sort of natural terrain, and just realize that, you know what, like, from where we're located right here, we were riding, you know, out in what you can't even fathom that you were out that far in all these just treetops. But it's so cool to see afterwards, having that bird's eye view perspective of where we've been. The expedition build was much more than just a cool project for me and the crew here at Trax. We truly believe there is a growing segment of side-by-side users who want to go farther, be held back by nothing, and explore without limitations. That's why we built the expedition, and we'd like to thank all of our build partners who share that same passion and help this project come to life.
Trax is sponsored by Eastern Ontario Trails Alliance. Your backyard just got bigger.
For many ATV and side-by-side riders, our sport only spans part of the season due to the cold winter months when snow comes in and we must put our four-wheeled toys away until that snow melts and we can get back out on the trails. So today I wanted to take the opportunity to show you how we can use a big bore sport ute like this Sportsman 1000 during those winter months and really put it to the test. And with winter quickly approaching for many of us, it took only a quick call to Kimpex to secure everything I would need to utilize the 1000 Sportsman to its fullest. And let me tell you, there's a whole lot more than just a plow you can add to make this 1K monster really pull its weight. And seeing that we're going to be using this vehicle in snow, the number one thing that we need to address is traction. And with the rear tires on this Sportsman being completely shot after our burnout, we could just choose to use a set that's better in the snow, but we're not looking for better, we're looking for the best. The Commander WS4 is the best. It's the ultimate in four-season performance with an ever-evolving design that features reduced steering effort due to its triangular frame design and three-wheel contact on the ground. The frame is 2.5-inch tubular steel and is built for the abuse that a four-season track kit will see. With double-sealed bogie wheel bearings instead of a conventional slide rail and an HD tensioning system, you not only get longevity, you also get ease of maintenance. So you spend more time out playing and working and less time in the shop. Now that we're set to traverse anything that Mother Nature throws at us during the cold winter months, it's time to put this Sportsman to work, and the number one place to start is right up front. When it comes to snow removal, a winch is the number one accessory you must start with, and this Kimpex 2,500-pound winch is a great option. With a handlebar-mounted rocker switch, an included roller fair lead, and long wires on the main harness for reaching the back of your ATV, your install becomes quick and easy. The included synthetic rope is 50 feet in length, and because it's not steel, you don't have to worry about kinks, bends, or sharp and dangerous wire frays. Now that we have the ability to lift, we need to find the right stuff to lift. And thanks to Kimpex, they have a wide variety of snow removal products for your winter needs. Now, because we have a track kit, you can't just buy any old plow. You need to have a special extension system to put the plow out past the front of the tracks. And in our case, we're using the Click and Go 2 attach kit, extension kit, and push frame to make a seamless and easy to install frame system. Once our winch cable is hooked up, we're ready for a variety of front attachments. And yes, I did say variety. With Kimpex, gone are the days of simply using just a snowplow for snow removal, but I'm going to get to that later, because the truth is a snowplow is the best place to start for snow removal. We're big fans of plastic plows because they last longer, show less signs of wear, and absorb shock, allowing them to return to their original shape. And that's precisely what Kimpex's 60-inch wide Click and Go 2 plow offers. With adjustable sliders and an easy to click on and off system, you're ready to move snow no matter how deep it gets. Now in most situations we'd be done and ready for winter, but thanks to the Click and Go 2 system, there's more than just a fancy thermoplastic plow. Here's where things get interesting. The Click and Go 2 plow can be removed from the push frame and replaced with an incredibly handy Click and Go 2 bucket. This bucket has a maximum capacity of 200 pounds and is angleable to the left and right 25 degrees. The width of the bucket is 42 inches, meaning you can literally bucket snow out of areas where you'd piled it with the plow. Install is simple thanks to Click and Go and adds a level of versatility other plow systems can't match. If you're looking to outfit your ATV for winter snow removal, make sure you get the most out of your purchase, both for ease of use and versatility, and that's precisely what the Click and Go 2 system from Kimpex offers.
Dirt Trax is sponsored by Algoma, That Real. Closed captioning of Dirt Trax is sponsored by Triton Trailer, built for adventure.
Some things in life are better done alone. Playing solitaire, going shopping, cleaning your car, going to the bathroom. Sometimes it's just easier and more enjoyable if no one's around. ATVing is not one of those things. No, ATVing is a sport best enjoyed with others. The idea of a two-up ATV is nothing new. By now, everyone is familiar with Can-Am's Max lineup and Polaris's Sportsman touring models. We've tested many of them in the past. So what makes this Sportsman Touring 570 SP any different than all the other ones we've already talked about? In the most basic sense, nothing. It's an ATV designed to carry two people safely. That part hasn't changed. What has changed, or rather evolved, are the finer details of how two people fit and interact with a single vehicle. Let's take a look at some of the realities of being a passenger on an ATV. First, for the most part, ATVs are ridden on rough terrain. As a passenger, it's hard to stand up for the big bumps, so you're completely reliant on the ATV's suspension and the seat cushion to insulate you from those impacts. Second, traversing this rough terrain requires that the driver and passenger be able to move around the vehicle to help maintain stability and balance. This can be difficult when the passenger seat is as wide as a couch cushion and they have to stretch their legs to reach the foot pegs. And third, ATVs are often required to climb or descend steep slopes. Since the passenger can't shift their weight forward or back to compensate for these steep angles, the vehicle itself must be designed with proper passenger weight distribution as a top priority. Which is why the Sportsman Touring is such a great two-up vehicle. It was designed and built with the passenger in mind. It's a real two-up ATV, not just a longer Sportsman. The underpinnings of the chassis are definitely Sportsman-based. Front and rear double A-arm suspension setups yield a plush 8.2 inches of rear and 9.5 inches of front travel. The chassis has been stretched 5.5 inches and rear suspension calibration has been tuned to accommodate a second rider. This mid-size touring model is powered by Polaris's much-loved 570cc single. 44 horsepower is more than enough for a two-up ride, and because it's a single, this engine package is much lighter than something with more displacement. As with the regular Sportsman 570, this engine package has allowed Polaris to create an ATV with an incredibly narrow midsection. On the one-up model, we've raved about how comfortable this reduction in space between the foot pegs is and how much easier it is to move around on the vehicle. When you add the second seat, the results are the same. The passenger's portion of this one-piece saddle is much narrower and the space between their foot pegs is greatly reduced compared to any other two-up model on the market. A nice set of passenger handles are mounted to the sides of the rear rack and offer two different grip positions that, combined with the narrow seat and foot peg spacing, make it easy for the passenger to move around. Every passenger who's ridden on the back of this Sportsman Touring has come away saying the same thing. The ergonomics of this seating position are more comfortable, less tiring, and leave them less sore at the end of a long day than any other two-up ATV they've ridden on. If there's one area of Polaris's touring model lineup we think needs work, it's the passenger backrest department. The backrest is not adjustable, yet not every rider is the same shape or size. Not being able to adjust the angle and position of the backrest to suit each individual passenger is a bigger deal than it might seem. Unless, of course, you are the passenger, then it's exactly as big a deal as it might seem. The rest of the 570 Touring's underpinnings and features are the same as its one-up counterpart. Perfectly tuned CVT clutches, on-demand 4x4, and excellent single-lever brakes are every bit as good as what you've come to expect from Polaris. The SP model we have here comes standard with Polaris's excellent power steering system, engine braking, automotive-style painted plastics, and aluminum wheels with 26-inch Maxxis tires. ATVing is a sport best enjoyed with others. Maybe the people who want to ride with you don't want to ride their own vehicle. The Sportsman Touring 570 SP is a great combination of price, performance, and all-day comfort for both you and the one you ride with.
Dirt Trax Television has been sponsored by Polaris, the world leader in off-road innovation. Can-Am, the ride says it all. And by Arctic Cat. Share our passion.
If you've enjoyed watching this Dirt Trax TV segment, we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel so you'll never miss another update.